What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Clocks Running, the podcast for everything flag football officials. I'm Ant.
And I'm Jacob. What's going on? Welcome back, everybody.
What is up, man? It seems like I haven't seen you in like forever.
It's been only a couple weeks, but a couple weeks feels like a couple decades.
Is that true? Is there scientific fact behind that?
I mean, you could probably say there is. I mean, who knows? You think cream cheese belongs on a Philly cheesesteak to this day, and that doesn't. You still say that's a scientific fact. So what else could be a scientific fact?
Hey, man, all I'm saying is I feel like the entire organization of Virginia Elite is all in for it.
I disagree, and I think Rock would disagree. The fact that you're using his name like that.
I mean, I didn't drop any names. That was you. I just said the team in general. That's all I said.
Yeah, well, you know what? You can keep living in this fantasy world if you want. The rest of us are here in reality and know that cream cheese does not belong.
Okay, well, so the reality of it is we just we were a part of something pretty cool about like 9 days ago. What you got? Medals? You're clanking around?
Yeah, I'm just clanking a couple medals around. It's cool. It's fine.
Well,
We're just world record holders. I mean, that's it.
Okay, so just break this down for me and everyone that was living under a rock and didn't know exactly what this whole Guinness World Record was. Like, what is the record?
All right, so the record was the world's largest flag football tournament. They based it off of participants there. They didn't quite they use a metric of just a standard group of people. And I think it was roughly like 3,300 roughly was like the starting point for this. And we were over 11,000 people. That Chuck and Travis had. They shared an article from Guinness talking about this. It's really cool to read, but it gives the more specifics of everything. So yeah, we were something else really cool. We got to incorporate all the officials in this, and every official acted as a witness for us. They declared what they worked, their times that they were there, and they saw people playing, and they had all the people that were on the rosters there. So this is a really cool thing.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have any idea how many games were played over the 5-day period?
Okay, so let's do some basic math here. Everybody played a 3-game guarantee. So pool play alone was, let's just say 1,300. I don't remember what the exact count was, but it was roughly 1,300 teams. So pool play alone would have been 1,300 games. And then you add on roughly another 1,200 for a bracket. So, I mean, it's close to 2,500 games that were played the other weekend.
Yeah. Well, so I think that it only makes sense that if we're talking about all these games and the officials were witnesses, we got to bring an official on. So who's our guest tonight?
Hey, bring her on. The Queen of Massachusetts, the lady who got it done, the 5-day renegade. Welcome, Jen, to the show.
Thank you.
My intros are getting better.
I feel like there should be some theme music.
Jen, did you realize you had that many nicknames? I didn't know you had that.
I didn't know, but I love it.
I try to come up with what I can.
Okay, well, and Jen, we don't have to mess around with an introduction because you've been here before. You know what it's all about, right?
Welcome
Any questions?
Back.
Yeah.
Jen, I just want to start off by saying that first and foremost, Jacob still doesn't like clam chowder. So just putting it out there.
I don't know. Maybe we can change him when he comes to Boston, Possibly.
I'm all for it.
Do you have like a certain day that you like to eat clam chowder, Jen?
Not really. Maybe like weather-wise.
Like a rainy
in the summer. Definitely in the summer. You can always do that with some lobster if you're doing like a clam bake. You have all that stuff.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
There's like two different, I don't know. There's like two different ways. One in the summer, if you're on the water, if it's cool, and then if it's rainy in the winter. It depends.
So in the summer when it's hot, because I'm assuming Boston still gets up in the 80s, 90s, correct?
Correct.
You guys have humidity?
Yeah, but if you're down in the Cape, and it's cool, and you're on the water, and you're sitting out on the deck of a local place, you're sitting outside, a nice cup of chowder to start off.
A cup of hot soup in the summer.
On the Cape, man. Yeah, on the Cape.
Oh, yeah, tell me about the Cape. And where's the Cape on a map?
Hey, bro, I've actually, hold on.
Yeah, Aunt we need to draw it for him.
I actually caught mussels on Cape Cod as a kid. How about that?
Well, we know you have muscles, so you don't have to show off. It's not a contest.
Do you mean you dug them? Did you dig them?
Oh, you didn't catch them. You dug them.
However you get them. All I know is we got some mussels and we ate them like an hour later. So it was cool.
So when you did it, did you eat them? How did you eat them? How did you prepare them?
Well, I was like 8, so I didn't do any of the preparing.
Yeah. It depends. You can put them on a grill so they pop open. You can eat them raw, or you can stuff them, bake them with a piece of bacon on top, and eat them.
Anything with bacon, I'm in.
Yeah, bacon. Yeah.
Not a hard sell.
Yep.
All right, so Jen, I know we could spend the next hour talking about different types of food, specifically in relation to the Massachusetts area, but we want to talk about Tampa. We want to talk about the World Championship that we all were just a part of. So, Jen, I'm sure that you memorized every single game that you officiated. Every single play, everything that went good, went wrong. But first, let's just talk about kind of your everyday. Let's start with, you were there on Wednesday, right?
I flew in on Tuesday. Yeah, so I was there Wednesday, ready to go.
All right, cool. So what formats did you do on Wednesday?
We started off with co-ed, and then we went into women's pro.
Okay, and that was that over 35 co-ed, or what co-ed was that?
8 co-ed.
8, yeah.
Oh,
8. So it was
co-ed.
an age group. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and was that the smaller field 8 co-ed, or?
Yes, yeah, it was, because there was a couple questions about some rules because it was a smaller field. So they would just I'm trying to think. Some of the players were talking among themselves, like, "Oh, it's a smaller field, so we have to do this." So I don't specifically remember those questions, but.
I gotcha. Jacob, do you think that there was, I'm sure some people signed up not even realizing it was a smaller field, but how was the response with the 8 co-ed being on the smaller field?
Overall, good. I think a lot of people had to realize, hey, number one, we're not punting. Number two, if we have to go for it on 4th down, and this is players and officials alike, because I think it wasn't just Jen's crew that worked that. There was other crews as well, and the crews had to figure out, hey, they can't punt. They have to go for it on 4th down. This isn't like, in youth where you get the punt option that it's just a touchback to the 3. They had to go for it. If they didn't get it, they were able to flip. So that changes people's strategy a little bit. It makes people a little more it takes some of the conservativeness out of the game. People are trying different things, trying to get stuff going. But overall, I think they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Jen, what do you think is the most challenging part of doing 7 screen or 8's co-ed? It's kind of, there's this gray area with a little bit of contact in the screen, but there's a lot more to watch. What is the biggest challenge with that?
I think the main thing is your crew. Your crew is on the same page. Communication. Everybody's on the same page. And usually before we switch formats or start formats, whatever crew I'm with, we're really good about going over the rules. And if there's questions, we kind of we're in a carpool. So as we're going to the field, we talk about it. And that's just a pregame thing. You get it in your head, you work together. But then also if you're unsure, we don't want to take that time or that situation away from the player. So sometimes we'll stop the clock, make sure we talk it, get it right. And then if we have to explain it later to the players, we will. Because at the end of the day, points matter, and that's how they get to the next bracket. And, a lot of the time they appreciate you more for they might be all at you, but if you just explain to them, sometimes they're like, oh, they'll never say they're wrong, but they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So it's all about getting it right so they get their time and get to where they need to be.
Yeah. So Jacob, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just wondering, was there any in that first day? Was there any like challenges that came up as far as procedure or rules?
Not really.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not that we had on our field. I mean, it was a great first day.
Yeah.
I thought great way to start off the tournament.
I think especially for the larger formats like 7s and 8s as well, having that first day of just pool play, people were able to figure stuff out, ask the questions they needed to ask, but also not have to stress about, hey, we're getting ready to get eliminated. They were able to kind of play through, figure it out, and then go into Thursday with the mentality of we got it now, we understand what we're doing, we know what the looks are going to be, let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Jen, are these formats that you see locally at all, or is this something you only do when you officiate USA Flag?
When it depends on like different tournaments for whoever hosts them, they have different formats. So I mean, with USA Flag, it's great to go between the different formats and see like the different plays. But locally, if I do like schools around here, like middle schools, whatever, they don't have that. They just do basic like NFL flag rules. But other tournaments, you just have to see what they're, you kind of have to read the rules and know where you are, know what tournament you're at to get the rules right and make sure the players also understand that.
Yeah. Is that like, do you enjoy that challenge of doing different formats, or is there times where you're like, I just wish we were doing fives, like 10 days of fives. Let's just do that.
No, I like the challenge. Actually, I think it gets you thinking, and sometimes like it gets your head into the book a little more, gets it into the rules a little more, and it kind of brings your crew together. If you're just doing the same thing over and over, I think you kind of get stagnant. You're just like you're not like challenging yourself, and you're like, oh, this is what it is. So it's a challenge for you, but also players that are playing in those different formats too.
Yeah. Was there a team or a player that just stood out to you in those bigger formats where you were like, "Oh, this is just fun to watch"?
Oh, I mean, I loved watching the girls pro, to be honest, because a lot of the times we don't get those. So I love being able to officiate girls, and the ladies at that level are just like some of those catches, like almost like fingertip, almost out of bound toe touch. Like you can't beat stuff like that. They're just so athletic. So I love watching them to officiate or even just watching them play.
Awesome. Cool. So then moving into Thursday, did you just go into like the bracket play of those formats? Is that essentially what it was?
Yeah. I think we did co-ed again pretty much for the day. And with that, you just get in the habit of like, open, closed, making sure you get, and explaining to, like, we'll explain to the team before what we mean by like open, close, like this many plays, there has to be a girl involved or whatever, or if that play doesn't count, etc. So it keeps you thinking, keeps you on your toes. And again, communication from the crew is key.
Do you count up or down when you do open 1, 2?
Yeah, so we'll do open 1, open 2. That means like guys are both involved in those play. And then close means it has to be a girl play. So we'll usually say open 1, open 2. And then we say close. We're usually girl has to be a girl play. And I think that communication with us works. I know different fields use different things, but then you're checking. I usually keep 2 down markers, one for my open, like, open, close. And then I have another one for like the downs of the game. So there's no confusion.
I was going to say, do you ever get tied up with which one's which?
No, like I have one, like my downs of the game, there's numbers. It's a wristband that has 1 through 4.
Fancy.
And then I have my old school like down indicator, which just goes over your fingers. And then you're just communicating with like whoever's on your crew to be like first down, whatever down, and open 1. And then usually like we'll echo each other. So then it's like confirmation of that.
Yeah. And see, we'll use this moment right here as our clocks running fancy moment of the show. Jen's down indicator. Told you this season's gonna be fancy, man.
Yeah. That is fancy. That's really fancy. Okay, so was there a certain position in the crew mechanic that you were kind of set in for the couple days, or did you guys rotate around?
Depends on like how many are in your crew. First day, everybody's strong, and then by the last day, a lot of like push pull. And I apologize that I brought some of my New England weather with me on Sunday. I thought I had left that at home, but apparently not. So I apologize to everybody for that. But like, I don't mind push pulling. I think when you move positions too, it gives you a different view of the field. It makes you a better official. And then in some formats, I would just stay like rush or whatever, because we kind of had something going, and some of the players, like you'd swap out or whatever, there'd be two teams that played and then that team would be in the next one. And I was like, well, I'll just stay at the 7 because we have something going, and or just like my cadence, they knew how to react to that. So I think that was important if we had like a back-to-back team, just to keep it consistent for them, because they were kind of in that moment, wouldn't want to like switch that up on them for them to get used to someone else, especially when you get beyond bracket.
Nice. So moving into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was there a format, that I know you probably did a few different ones. Was there one that you really just enjoyed, you had a lot of fun doing?
Some of the guys, the best thing about officiating, it's work, but you got to love it. It's fun. And then, I'm a mom, so every once in a while you like hear the players. So I'd be like, I'm ignoring you. I'm a mom, but I can still hear everything you're saying. And then they're like, oh, all right, lady ref. All right. So it was funny, but I mean, you just have to you have to have a good, you have to joke around. You can't be totally serious, as long as you know your stuff and you can, have a good rapport with the team. If you're on the sideline, whatever, that's what it matters about. They're there, they paid to be there. They want to be there. We're getting paid to be there. It's important for us to make a good impression. And it's also important to have like a good communication with your crew, but also with like the team. So they can, if there are questions, they can ask you and not be like, oh, she's just like mad and not going to talk to me. So you got to have fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
What are all the different names that you get called, like lady ref and things like that? What do players call you?
Well, I think as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, oh, Boston, so, they'll just be like, say that again. Or, if I throw out like the mom card, they're like, oh, mama ref or a lady. Like a lot of time it's like lady ref. So, but it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. So were you interested in trying to meet Tyreek Hill, or since he's a Dolphin, does that not matter to you at all?
I didn't have time that day. I had games from 9 to 10:30. So I got like maybe a break in the morning and then a break at like later in the day. So, just keep the games going. So I really didn't have time for that. I wasn't there for him. I was there to work and to get the games moving along.
Yeah,
but those that met him, I'm sure it's great. I've heard like different stuff about that, like guys that their kids got to meet him and stuff like that. So I mean that's cool for the youth. I think that's important. When you have the youth come in on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, yeah, the adults, they're like big kids who sometimes behave worse than children. But I think it was important for youth to see him there and being there so they could be like, oh, this guy's here and he's at my flag turn. I think that's like huge for the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of a big deal, what was your favorite meal that you had throughout the week?
Homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Mine was so good.
So one of my crewmates, she has like food sensitivities, which actually I have to say, shout out from Sonia. She's in Mexico. She wanted me to say hi to you guys. She's out there doing a tournament this weekend, so holding it down. So
yeah,
doing her thing, but she wanted me to say hi to you guys. So we usually shop and we'll bring a cooler because sometimes you just never know what your day is going to be like. So we usually just pack like a PB&J and there were some good food choices, but just I chose not to. But I heard the Quiznos, the steak and cheese flatbread thing was pretty. That was like a fan favorite. I heard about that. So
the papadilla, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Next question to put you on the spot. Which director did you see the most of?
Well, it depended on which field I was on. Yeah, what field I was on. Whoever was working that, whoever was covering that area. Like the last day, it was Krista. So we saw her, but actually on that field at one point we had all the directors, so which we didn't need them, so that was good. Like they were there just in case, but we didn't even need them, so that was like huge. But I don't know, like we never really had trouble getting a director if we needed them, but very rarely on our field did we need one.
So Kristen was your favorite director, is what I'm hearing you saying.
On Sunday. Jacob was there a lot the other day. I'm trying to think who else. I don't know. If their director was just going by and I had a card, I just pass it off to them. So
yeah. So Jacob,
no
can you
favorites.
explain what
They're all love them all.
Jacob, can you explain the situation that happened on Sunday? That apparently all the directors were on Jen's field.
Apparently, there was a scuffle or something that's almost happened that didn't happen, but was about to happen. I don't know. I was in other areas of the world. I was not a part of the directors that were there.
Yeah, it was like the last game. It was like I think it was either a quarter or a semi. And these two teams, one was from Chicago, one was from Philly. The team from Philly talks a certain way to their players. Chicago doesn't talk that way. Something was said, I think a misunderstanding. So we just brought, like the teams came together and we kind of I just inserted my little self and was like, boop. My teammate and I were just like, hey, I separated them, which there was there was like a confrontation, but it didn't escalate. We did the right thing, separated them, then brought the captains in and had a chat and we're just like, listen, we can end this game now. Do you want to do that? If the answer is no, then this is what we're going to do. And so then it went from there and then it was all set.
See, Jen's a lot nicer than I am. I would have shut it down. Be like, we're done. You're both done.
So there wasn't a specific play or a call. It was just the way guys were talking back and forth to each other.
Yeah, it was like a way like the Philly guys talk to each other. He had said it to a Chicago guy and he was like, we don't talk like that. So he took it as disrespect. So he kind of explained himself and I was like, well, we're not in Chicago or Philly. So
yeah.
And I will turn this car around right
now. Yeah. And there will be no dessert for you.
Yeah. Or chowder.
Yeah, or chowder.
So just just in case Chun decides to listen to this show, Chun, when you're in the middle of a fight, all you got to do is insert yourself in, separate the two people, and you're good.
Huh. That's a new one for me.
I don't know. I feel like Chun is probably the same height as Jen, and he could try it.
He just doesn't talk Boston or has like the mom power, so I don't know.
He also punches me in the back, but we're gonna keep moving.
Okay. So Jen, what else? What was the best part of your experience on or off the field at Tampa?
My favorite and best part is anytime when I come and do a USA flag tournament is being with like my brothers and sisters in the flag football community. That's my favorite part. Reconnecting, picking up where we left off. We're all there. We're all doing our job. And it's just like great to see everybody. Like there's a couple of us from around the US and now we have our friend from Canada that are now going to like pick tournaments just so we can be together. Take vacation from work, but have fun doing it. So.
Nope.
Yeah. Now, are you at liberty to talk about the pirate crew?
Sure.
Is that?
Yeah.
We have questions.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. We have questions.
All right.
Go ahead, Amp.
Oh, first off, where does his name come from?
So it happened last year in Tampa. We were driving together and for some reason, I don't know if it was like talk like a pirate or something about a pirate came up. So then we just decided, I think it was like day 3, kind of tired. We just decided to talk like pirates and think of all different pirate words that we could say to just get us through the early morning, but then like through like maybe overtired silliness, and then we just became the pirate crew. I know it's like stupid, but it's funny stupid, get you through.
So what did Dean say, like, as a part of the pirate crew?
Oh, Dean's Dean. He likes to do different things. He likes to put his K-Mon twist on it. So
Wait a minute,
we
what?
kind of like we became like his mom and took him into the crew,
Yeah.
Good old Dino.
Yeah.
All right, Jen. Before before we send you out for the night, I guess I just have to have you give us a really good example. Can you explain? Just act like me and Jacob are captains of the coin toss. Using your best pirate impression, explain to us the coin toss.
All right. Okay. Army mateys, you be gathering here to be swashbuckling. Over here, this treasure coin, you got your heads and your tails. Which one are you going to pick? You got to say it loud so your matey will hear it. So we'll say like, Ant, you're the away team. You get to pick.
Okay, head.
All right. What did he say?
Oh, you're asking me? Heads.
Yeah. Okay. So like just to backtrack, anytime we did a coin toss, we'll always have them say their choice out loud and make sure the other guy or girl is listening.
I like that. I actually like that.
Yeah.
I feel like okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, the first day we were there, we had someone say defense and the other team got the ball. So when he said it, and I had this happen last year one time, I said, "Are you sure that's what you want to say?"
Ooh, you're going to coach him through it.
And I was trying, and then the other guy's like, he said it. And then he walked away, and I was like, so you know what that means, right? And he was just like, oh, yeah, we get the ball second half. I go, no, they get ball both halves. You either want the ball or you defer. Don't say defense. But you can think about that, but you're not going to do that again, are you? Or you can always ask, what are my choices? This is like the mom lesson out there. Like, come on,
Go to your room, think about what you just did.
And then come back. Yeah.
And come back.
Yeah. I do feel like anytime someone says defense, they say it with all the confidence in the world. No, that's what I want. I want defense. And like,
okay, bud.
And like the other captain is just snickering to try to
like one time we had it where there was two captains and there was another guy with the captain and the guy next to the captain said it, and I was just like, he's on your he should not be here. Do you know what he just said? So lesson learned, hopefully.
Yeah. So Jen, do you is that something pro tip that you learned from Camille as far as having the one captain say heads or tails and then going to the other captain and saying what did they say? That just reminds me of Camille.
I just do that. I've done it with like youth, and I've done it in high school.
Yeah.
I started. We don't do it in college, but I just do that in high school because that way the other team is paying attention. So they're both involved. So it's just not all one-sided, like, oh, I didn't win the toss, I'm not going to listen. So that way you have them both engaged because they're both there representing their team. So it's important.
No, I like that.
Definitely. Yeah. Jacob, any other questions you have for Jen?
So outside of Avery, with her being from Canada, what else was y'all's international experience like? I know we had quite a few international officials.
So we did have, I think, just some Mexican officials on our crew. I think, I apologize. On the first day, Wednesday, we had the King of Sweden on our field. So he did our first games with us, and he was a blast. I wound up talking to him, and come to find out when the Patriots played the Bucks in 2009 over in England, he was at that game, and I was at that game as well. And then he had all this like Patriots Sweden stuff. So every day he would give me stickers or a keychain. And then the last day he was great. He had gone to the game that was in Germany in 2023. He wound up giving me the coin from that game that he had. And I was just like,
cool.
And he made up his own coin. I don't know if he gave you guys a coin. He had a coin made up with one side had all his like tackle accolades with I forget what, I think it was a football, and then the other side, or I think that was a zebra, and then the flag side had a football with a flag and all his like flag accolades. Mm-hmm. And he's like, now I have to make a new coin for Tampa.
So, yeah, the zebra had like these really sharp teeth. It was really cool.
Yeah. So he was good. And then he had said to us after with our crew, he's like, I'm so happy I was with you guys first. It really, I think he was, I don't know, he was just like unsure. But I think it really like set him up for success to be with like a solid crew to go into the tournament. So it was great. Great communication. Again, that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
Yeah, so to be clear, he officiated at those NFL games, or he was just in attendance?
No, he was in attendance, but like on his coin, there was some like pretty cool like games he had been a part of, and he played flag too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, good stuff.
There we go. Yeah, cool. Well, Jen, just before we finally, I guess, before you leave, just shout out all the officials that you worked with over the 5 days.
So Mary, Keith, Sonia, Avery, Olaf, King of Sweden, Marcus, Dean, Avery, I think I already said her. And then Angel, Shorty, Jared, and I think that might be it.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. And
Tim Casey jumped on our field for one game, and TJ.
Oh nice. Yeah, you did get to work. You did get to work with TJ.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's and it's cool. Just you're one official that you worked with officials from all over the country and all over the world just in the matter of a few days. So that's really cool. Jen, any other final thoughts you want to share with us about Tampa?
No, I appreciate being invited, the opportunity to be a part of this, and congratulations again. This is such like a big feat with the Guinness Book, and just surviving the weather, even though I know that's not because of you, but like getting through it. I mean, nobody can plan that, but I mean, just getting through it and trying to get all those games in, like even as late as it was, like kudos to you guys for that. And I'm looking forward to the next tournament. Absolutely. And when you guys are shipping up to Boston in August, I can't wait to see you.
We'll be on our way.
Mateys.
I feel like I'm gonna drive. I feel like I'm just gonna.
You probably should
get on. Just a little driver.
Maybe not. But your navigation skills. I'm a little concerned.
It's only like 6 hours or something. It's like a quick drive.
Jen's so nice about it. You really should not drive.
Hey, I made it to Nashville and back.
Not something to brag about.
All right, Jen.
Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. See you, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Well, there's the Boston perspective, right? That's everything you need to know about Tampa from Boston.
Yep, Jen's so fun. She's so great. and her and Sonia, but especially Sunday after the rain, they were originally with a 3-woman crew. Due to injury, Avery had to bow out a little early, which was completely understandable. And for the longest time, it was just Sonia and Jen that they rock and rolled together and powered through. And on day 5 of grinding like that, like that's tough. That's tough for anybody. Yeah. And they both did it without complaint. Worked through, had great games. There at the end, they did say, "Hey, we need some help," and we were able to get something to them. But yeah, they were absolute troopers. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah. Well, and you bring that up, and I think it's good to just have kind of in this show have like a contrast, the yin and yang. So there's an example of officials that power through it, They didn't complain. They didn't whine. But our next guest spent 5 days. All he did was complain and whine. So who's our next guest tonight?
Oh, man. Bring in the bearded man, the logo, the legend, the J Boogs. What's going on, Jordan?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Is that like a vintage Camel City shirt? Let me see that thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's beautiful.
You know,
All
so
right.
I don't even have one of those.
just hey, gotta represent.
You know, we wear you wear us.
Hey, respect.
Whoa, hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
What in the what, this show just took a strange turn.
You know, so hey,
Look
gotta
at
be,
you,
gotta be a team player.
I just feel like Jordan. I just feel like Jordan found himself in like one of those pineapple rooms one time and was like, "Well, I'm here."
Oh yeah, bro. Hey, it would be like I don't know how I got here, but now that I'm here, I mean, you know, no one's going to know. So did it really happen?
Or say no.
Yeah, true, yeah, exactly.
Oh man, Jordan, man, I miss you, bro. I feel like I spent the most time with you in Tampa, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, bro, 100%. It was so much needed, man. But it was really fun. It was definitely exciting getting back out there and you know, just letting embracing the flag world as it does, you know. So
Yeah, and I know that you know, Jacob being the top notch, the best assigner, the guy that puts people in the right positions. You probably worked a lot of contact games, right?
1,000%. Now I have to offset that with, you know, like the shitty divisions, but at the same time, that's just called being a team player. So yeah, so
So let's get into those divisions. Let's talk about it. I just want to hear all about what contact looked like in Tampa. Now I know, you know, now that I have two you guys here from the SEC of contact flag football. Let's talk about how it all went down. 5 contact, 6 contact. Where do you guys want to start?
oh man, honestly, if you pick the spot, I'm telling you, I can we can figure it out along the way.
Can you just show me
Okay,
a bracket
cool.
so I know what happened?
Can I show you a bracket?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, I can look at some scores. Jordan, talk to us about the other crappy divisions that you did that weren't contact, and I'll pull up these scores real
There we
quick.
go.
Oh, easy. And the 4-on-4 again, it is the most terrible division that we offer. It is annoying. Most of those guys they either run so fast that my fat ass can't keep up with them, or they complain because they don't know the rules, and I'm not sure which one I hate more. So, you know, you take the good with the bad because, you know, once that's over, you're like, thank God. And then you finally get some contact in there where no one's just complaining, oh, he touched me. I'm like, bro, we're trying to give you a high five. You know, it's just terrible.
And that was like, oh, go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You were staying on subject. I was getting ready to change it. Go.
Oh no, I just that was for novice, right?
You said it, not me. I wasn't gonna just bring total, you know, spotlight on a division, but absolutely, those guys complain. They complain the most, and they know the least. And you know, if you try to be a good ref, they hate it. It's just it's annoying to them, and it just baffles me. I'm like, you guys don't want to get better yourselves, and you don't want us to also be better and not like prolong the game. They're like, no. They're like, we're cool with being dumbasses, and we want this game to last at least 2 hours because we know nothing. Yeah, just the amount of flags that you have to throw, and then when you explain it to them, they're like, I don't understand. I'd be like, dude, you know, when you started talking, I knew off rip you were not going to understand a word I was going to say. So,
And this is where you get all the roster checks and the challenges on rules, right? Like it was nonstop.
And so not roster checks. That actually have been in contact more this year than ever before. And
Really?
they were the crazy thing is they were the one that lost. The one that lost was the best one ever. It was just a very unique situation. And I'm just sitting in the middle of the field like they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. Just, y'all tell me when this is over. That was very unique.
All right, so I no, we're not doing that, Jacob. Not without. No, sir. This is Clock's Running. Where we air out people's dirty laundry. Okay.
I was going to say, man, we got a dry snitch. We don't have to dry snitch anybody.
Here's the thing.
I was going to say, without naming team, just say what happened.
Oh, okay. I was going to.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Tell us about it, but I need names. And if you're not going to name the player that it revolved around, I will name her. So I'll give you the opportunity.
Hey, let me put it this way: if you name her, at that point, I'll go with it.
Her,
but before you say the name, bro, I don't know if you're right, so I can't just jump out there and throw somebody under the bus. But that's actually, I think that's one of my favorite parts about the whole story is because, I don't know where it came from, and that was the best part about it. It just came out of nowhere. I mean, I assume, who knows?
Yeah. So. Everybody does roster checks like immediately, right? This is not something you wait until the last second of the game, do you?
You do if you're getting spanked and you're embarrassed because of that. So
I know about this.
All right. So this was 5s or 6s women's contact?
This is 5s.
Okay, so 5s women's contact. We had 2 teams. This is a playoff game?
Yes, it is.
We don't roster check in pool play. No one cares there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, Jordan's best friend, Caker, roster checked in San Diego during a pool play game, sir.
All this dry stuff.
I mean,
we're living in the past. We're talking about a week ago, not 2 years ago. Anyways, continue your story.
Yeah. So there's a team. There's a team. I believe they're from Florida.
Okay.
Them I cannot be sure about. I've only seen them like 2 times.
Okay.
So there's this coach on the sideline, and the dude looks 14, but he's saying stuff, and the players are listening. So I'm like, that's weird, but respect. Okay. He made a few good calls. So finally, mixed breeds. I mean, it's
hold on. Let me just tell you for a second. He looks 14 in stature or like in the face? Like he had a baby face.
Yeah, in the face. Yeah. He got out of high school Friday, was like, you know what? I'm going to come over to this sports thing and just see what I can do. And he was like, does anyone need a team? I played football one time. And some team was like, I mean, we'll take you. But honestly, it felt more like he was a lost puppy and the girls just felt bad for him. Damn. So.
All right, so team in Florida, mixed breeds, since we're dry snitching. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. I thought it was funny the entire time. But so mixed breeds is winning. I mean, they're the winning, and all So I yelled ball game, and the guy said, "I want a roster check." What? He's like, "Yep, you heard me." I was like, "Oh, okay." So she got a roster check. Now it took a little longer to find some stuff. There was an issue with something. I couldn't quite hear what the directors were talking about. And I know that they had to call somebody directly to get the information. So once that was happened, it was good to go. And so the other team, lost officially.
There was the reason for the call was there was 2 mixed breeds teams, so they had to clarify which one they were looking at.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Now this one right here. Look, I won't dry snitch. Then I won't specify the 2. So see, I got your back.
I was going to say, cleanup crew over here is getting ready to lay it all out for him. He knows exactly what it is.
Well, so.
But anyways, yeah.
So we're like halfway through. We're halfway through the stuff, and then all of a sudden, they were like, so here was the situation, and I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what was said. It was just, at that point, it was pure speculation. So I didn't know what was going on, and I'm just waiting. And then they finally told me, we're good to go. And then it was, then it was over and done with.
So past experiences in my life, I've gotten really good at ear hustling. And so when when there's a conversation going on that seems interesting that I know has nothing to do with me, I'm gonna listen. My ears are gonna tune in.
I like
So I just happened to hear Jordan, loudmouth Jordan, having a conversation with everybody's favorite quarterback, Jonah.
Oh, shit.
I mean, now that you bring it up, and
it seemed like Jonah was pretty upset at Jordan, as if he had caused the roster check to happen. Now, I don't know why Jonah was involved in this because she wasn't on either one of those teams. So, Jordan, you want to explain that a little bit, or?
Oh man, so after the game, so the speculation is that Jonah told the team that roster checked. Jonah told them to roster check and who to roster check. So when she came back up to the field, but she had the next game there. So when it finally came back over to the field, I looked at her and I was just joking with her, and she didn't understand that I was trying to joke or being sarcastic, but I was like, from what I heard, Jonah told him to roster check and who to roster check. And I walk over to her, and I started smiling. I was like, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's the word. That's the word on the street. Just joking with her, and then, but yeah, she actually got upset because the next day on the rain delay on Sunday, she was in the room with everybody. So I walked over to her and I was like, hey, now that we have more time, let me tell you what was said. And she was like, yeah. So what did you do? I'm like, what did I do? She's like, yeah, I heard what you said. I'm like, what do you mean you heard what I said? She's like, you said this. I was like, that's because that's what those girls were saying. And then I saw you and I was just joking around. She was like, do not do that. I thought you were saying, I was like, no. I was like, first of all, I don't care enough about a roster check to ever bring it up. I could care less. I was 100% joking with you. And then she was like, oh my God. And then of course she was like, I'm going to be a detective. Who said it? When did they say it? I'm like, whoa, killer. Listen, I didn't hear anything about this until both teams are having the conversation in midfield. I was not a part of anything. I just heard the conversation. I don't know who started it. I was just laughing because I'm like, where did this come from? Did anyone see her next to it? And even if she wasn't there, how do you actually form that sort of opinion of somebody? It's respect. I was like, okay, got it.
Yeah. Hey. Shout out to the Southern California women's teams that travel and they're everywhere. But I'm telling you, those rivalries, they run deep. And whether it's San Diego Blitz and Top Shelf playing each other in every format, all over the country, or in contact, mixed breeds and she unit, it's like there's always something that seems like, and who knows, if anything, if there's truth to anything that was said or whatever. I think it's hilarious. Ultimately, Mixed Breeds was going to win that game. The roster check didn't go through. Jacob, how many roster checks actually end up panning out? And
About 50-50, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah. I mean, it seemed like this weekend. This weekend seemed like more people were on the rosters and where they were supposed to be than not. But people, it's frustrating because of timing of it, right? In a perfect world, you'd be able to say, hey, at this point in the game, you can't do it. But unfortunately, because we have so much going on, so many different formats, and so many different things, if we had a cutoff time, if it's me, I'm waiting till halftime or whatever that cutoff time is, and I'm telling my best players, hey, wait till then. We'll hold it down till here. Y'all run on over here. They can't roster check us at this point. So you have to leave it open for the duration of the game in case they're coming from other styles, or they're coming from the bathroom, or they're coming from somewhere else. But like I said, it seemed like this past weekend more people were where they were supposed to be, and at least on the rosters they were supposed to be than not. I think there was a couple times where some people may have gotten away with some stuff and people didn't roster check, but that's what it's there for,
No, I'm sure you don't want to mention the one that I'm thinking of, right, Jacob?
I don't want to mention any of them, to be honest with you.
Oh no! Hey,
Look,
I got a great one.
We ain't got to do any more dry snitching on here.
Nah. First of all, this was the best one of the entire weekend. So I'm reffing 5-on-5 non-contact, and it's the 23U division. So
I didn't think that we were going here.
It comes down to so at the field that I have currently, it is 2 Canadian teams. And
they roster check each other.
Hey, bro. Now, but honestly, shout out to them because they put faith back into Canadians of how they're not all pieces of shit. So that's respect. Super nice, respectful people. Every dealing with every Canada team until this weekend got awful. Okay, so we're on the fields, and this one team, it's a close-ish game. Then all of a sudden,
go ahead.
This one team kind of starts like walking away with it, and the coach, he was like, "Do I have to roster check at a certain time?" I said, "No, you can do it anytime you want to." And so he was like, "Where are we at time-wise?" I said, "We're at 2 minutes." He said, "Okay." I get down to the 1 minute warning. He was like, "No." So I was at 5 minutes. And he was like, "Okay." So we get down to 4 minutes. And he's like, "I want a roster check." I'm like, "Okay, who do you want to roster check?" And he was like, "The girl right there." So he points her out. I call over the director. They get there. About this time, the other coach comes on the field, says something in French, and then both teams shook hands and walked away. I said, "What just happened?" I didn't get it okayed. No one said you're right. They said something that I could understand, shook hands, and they were like, "Thank you." I said, "You're welcome." I'm looking around like, what just happened? They were like, I guess they knew they knew they got caught. I was like, that should happen every time. That was incredible. So I was like, a ball game. And then by the time the other director got there, I called in. I'm like, "Hey, come on over here." So then all of a sudden they showed up. They're like, "Hey, where are the teams?" I said, "Bro," so they left. They're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "They shook hands and they left." I said, "The other team is now on it was what I was on A, and the winner of that had to move to B." I said, "They're playing right now." They walked off my field after they won and went to the next field and started playing. The game was they're in the middle of coin toss. I have a director on my field "What's up?" I'm like, "Nothing, bro. We're good. Here's my card. Thanks."
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, that's the best one ever.
Yeah.
Those are the times I usually have to separate people.
Yeah.
Again, faith back in humanity. Way to go.
Meanwhile, they're like, "Merci, here we go."
Yeah, right. Done.
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
That just seems like to me that they had agreed upon a duel later that evening.
Oh.
Well, I think that's horseshit because they could at least invited us. Okay. That's just selfish. You're gonna have that great idea and not invite us? Okay, cool. I understand.
Oh man. Okay, well, cool. Well, that was great. I wasn't aware of that at all. So let's
Yeah.
um, let's talk about how terrible Carolina teams did in contact. Um, do you want pool play games, or you just want to go right into the playoffs? What do you
Just go
want? How
play.
do you want to do
Just go to play. I know what the results were.
it?
Oh,
Okay, cool.
hey, now I do not. I have questions because
Not
I
good.
need team names and divisions.
I got you covered. We're only talking about pro because that's all that matters. We don't need to hear about all the we don't we don't need to hear about all the Ohio teams in rec. Like
Yeah,
I get it.
that's fair. That's fair.
Everybody comes from Toledo and plays in rec. Like I get it. Okay, we're all on the same page
Listen to how he's talking he's like a native there now.
Hey,
there.
hey, once you pay your first tax dollar, you're there. Okay, you can talk. You can say whatever you want to about your state. So that's the rules.
Okay. Well,
All
I
right,
guess.
cool. So first game we're going to talk about Super Soakers Queen City Bulls. First round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Super Soakers won.
No, hey, okay, so but no, only because. Okay, so when Super Soakers is definitely one of those teams that's an outlier. I absolutely love that entire team. The first time that I ever ref them, I threw a flag. Captain ran off the sideline, got in my face, and was yelling at me. And I was like, hey boss, just real fast. I said, I'm going to throw an unsportsmanlike conduct on you, but my flag was on them. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. We've been fantastic ever since then. He got so mad, and then ever since then, like anytime we ever see them, if they have beer and I'm not reffing, they offer me beer. At that point, now see, I would used to joke around and be like, bro, a free beer will get you a free flag guard. But then Jacob was like, I have to stop saying that. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, because the wrong people heard you say that.
But I'm not actually going to do it.
I know, but the thing if you don't do it, they're gonna freak out, and it's not gonna be on you. It's gonna be on me.
No, because you can only offer things like that to people who aren't going to use it.
Yeah.
Super Soakers didn't even get upset about our hiccup that we had in Arizona, that Jacob was on the sideline just shaking his head as we did the wrong thing.
Yeah. Right.
They were totally cool.
Is pure mutual respect. He came on my field when I first saw the team, and I was like, hey man, I was like, so how was your last game? He was like, we lost. I said, why? He said, because you weren't there. He was like, a lot of these refs are just so temperamental. We need contact refs. And again, I wanted to be like, bro, see comments like that, get your free flag guard. But I didn't out of respect for Jacob. It's crap. I mean,
cool.
That was nice.
So, all right. So let me just ask you guys this. You guys are the experts. Do you think Super Soakers, say their entire team moved to good old Winston-Salem, where would they fall in Camel City?
Top 20%.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. That's not bad, right?
No.
Top 20%. They'd be up there with the upper teams.
You just don't think they would have a shot at beating Jacob's former team?
No comment. No comment.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the next game. SMYTDs versus Fruition. Fruition's from Carolina, right?
From Charlotte.
They are.
Oh, okay. They lost to an Ohio team.
Now, in their defense, Fruition is not. Now, when I say this, I don't know who was on the roster, so this is just a broad general statement. Fruition is not the team they used to be. There's definitely some age on them now. They play more about when they come to play, it's more about like to have fun. We're going to try our best, but if we don't win, we're not going to be super pissed off. Now,
Gotcha.
5+ years ago, different conversation. They lose to anybody like that. Oh, bro, we're talking shit.
Yeah. Okay, so that after 2 games of the playoffs, Carolina was out of 5 contact.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
This year, no. So no, you're covered there, buddy. This year right here is has been the worst show of Carolina, and it also really upsets me only because the mentality around here is if I can go to a shittier organization and get me a little plastic medal and only beat 10 teams instead of coming to the world professionals and walking through 30. They're like, as long as I get a medal, it's a medal. I'm like, that's not how my parents raised me, dude. If I want to be the best and talk shit, I want to be the best. I'm not going anywhere where a possible stage could collapse. Heck no, bro. I want a DJ with the smoke machines and everything. Pew 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 pew. All I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
That's just a hypothetical situation. Not that there's anybody who does that.
Yeah, so you don't want to have your teams playing for an organization where the directors are talking crap about each other on social media, right?
Well, I don't want them to, but for some god awful reason, they're like, I'm going to come over here, So it's pure judgment on my part, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Awful.
Let me know when I come back.
So,
Jesus.
All right. Well, let's get back to the games. I don't want to cause any more gray hairs in Jacob.
Sorry, buddy.
Speaking of no, but you're absolutely right. You got to beat the best here. Okay, yeah. So Super Soakers, they beat some Carolina team that apparently whatever blah blah blah, and then they played YTG. Now YTG won in Nashville. Basically, all year 2024, anywhere they played five contact, they won. So it's easy to think that YTG was going to dominate this bracket. They got a bye, and their first game against Super Soakers, they were up 2 touchdowns at halftime, and they ended up losing 27-26. And the reason they lost, they ran out of time. They were at 2nd and goal, and time expired. They had their timeouts.
Yes.
They had 2 downs. It was 27-26.
And that right there is a prime example of why I think that teams who play together all year long and have more time than just travel tournaments are ultimately going to get you where you want to be instead of having a super team. I mean, look at any other organization. When the NBA started having super teams, it worked there for a little while, and then everyone realized that you could beat it by doing certain things. So has YTG reached the threshold of where they can no longer just walk through people? Because, when are they meeting other teams like Super Soakers outside of Worlds? Have they met them before? If so, is it because it was so earlier in the year, Super Soakers needed that, teamwork together? Were they missing some players? Who knows? But for the fact that team can beat YTG is incredibly impressive. I mean, you literally have like 3 cops on the team. Their favorite thing to do is to eat donuts, and then they're whooping the best team in flag football, bro. I'm telling you, that's kind of that's a slippery slope.
So I have 2 thoughts, and it's not neither one of these are to discredit Super Soakers, because again, I still think like if they came to Camel City, that's a top 20% team.
Oh, yeah.
Number one, YTG played all day in 5 non-contact, had to sit for 2 hours, and then split up and go play other formats. So I want to know who was on that roster, who was playing, who was available for that.
They had their contact team.
Okay, so it was the usual guys that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, even if they didn't, you can't use that as an excuse.
That's true.
Welcome to the world. Welcome to the World Championships.
Yep.
Pick and choose or lose. Those are the options.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so we'll just run through these other games that I thought were interesting. Hard Target beat Goodfellas. That was a good game, 19-13. New Dynasty beat SMYTDs 7-6. That was a close game. The Bears upset Pre-Smoke 18-13. That was a back and forth game. honestly, what it came down to is with free smoke, when they were on defense, they couldn't stop roughing the passer. They ended up getting about 3 or 4 penalties for roughing the passer, and the Bears on penalties alone were able to get into the red zone and score with very little time left on the clock.
Yep.
So then New Dynasty ended up beating Super Soakers. That was a comeback win. They were down and they ended up coming back to win. And then Hard Target beat the Bears. Hard Target they were just clicking that entire bracket. I think the 35 and over contact championship, that it gave them momentum, it gave them confidence. They were already warmed up playing together, and they were just clicking. The guy they call Gronky.
Yeah.
Gronk. Yeah.
Yeah, Gronk. I mean, that dude was he was on it, and when it needed to be, he got into somebody's face in the Bears and got them riled up, and they were thinking about other stuff, and Hard Target capitalized for sure. So then we had a championship Hard Target against New Dynasty, and this literally came down to the last play, and threw to Jordan Harrison in the back of the end zone, and incomplete pass that would have tied the game.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
That's incredible.
So that was that championship. Is that now Hard Targets played in Camel City before, or do they always come? They come every year?
Nah, it's hit or miss. They've come down twice to play. With them having to come from Maryland, it's a trek. But they've made the trip a couple years. And they haven't won a championship either. They didn't come down here and just run through everybody. That was kind of the thought. I think some people had that mentality of, they're going to come down here and just clean house, and they didn't do that. I don't think they haven't made it to a championship game either. I'll put it that way.
Oh,
Yeah, no, they went to semis last year.
Yeah.
So, are you guys taking credit for Hard Target winning? Is that
no?
Okay.
I don't take credit for anybody winning.
Well, you should.
Yeah, I would say yes, we would. Yes, we would. If the right team won, they're welcome. Yeah, Jacob was lying to you. Okay, that man's a big fat liar. Oh yeah, let the right team win. It's gonna be terrible.
We all know you have your red and black jersey on underneath that hoodie right now. We all know it.
About the red and black.
What was the nickname they put on the back of your jersey? Was it just +1? Is that what they put, or what was it?
All right, guys, we got some sick merch coming out. These hoodies we're wearing with Jordan's ugly mug on, they're great.
Hey, if you want, we can just go back to talking about that stage that almost busted.
I don't want to talk about that either.
Okay, all right.
Talking about. I didn't go to the little house on the prairie.
Hey, again, hypothetical. So
no stage broke. We're just saying hypothetically, a small trailer shaped stage might break.
Right, and if I accidentally gave a team 1 point for scoring a home run, that I would apologize after the game. So.
What are we playing now? Baseball or football?
What? No, I was saying baseball.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
What's happening?
Okay, let's talk about now, Jordan. You and me, we were just bonding in the mud and the muck.
Oh yes, sir.
It was just, it was beautiful. And I don't know what Jacob was doing. He was probably just twiddling his thumbs.
Right.
Kicking his feet up, not, just relaxing at that point. But you and me, we were definitely, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so, we didn't even go inside when it was raining. We wanted to make sure that all the cones stayed in place.
I know.
You know? Did a really bad job of it, but okay.
Oh, cool, bro. Get off your high horse. So Six's contact that got kind of messed up a little bit because of all the rain and everything like
Yeah.
that. But hey, if people didn't see it live, I know some people recorded videos, but I gotta say, with that location, literally in the matter of like 15 minutes, it went from puddles
Yeah.
to completely dried out. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, the drainage system. And I mean, contact guys, they don't care. They want to play in a muddy game, so that was no big deal. Um, Jordan, was there a game that stuck out to you before I go through the playoffs and talk about Carolina and their lack of performance? Or
No, it was the fact that they're at the like right after the delay. I didn't even have two games because the teams didn't even show up.
yeah,
So it really felt like I had two teams. Well, so I had two teams come up. They did a double forfeit. So they did a tie and a 0 and a 0. Then on the next game, I had it where the team was. They're like, "No, we're good. We'll just come back for bracket play." Didn't even
yeah,
show up. So I had one game of it, and then by then it was just such a uh, it was such a long wait trying to like verify these teams weren't coming back and this that everyone was waiting on us. And I was like, how did we not have two games and we still got behind y'all? Just, waiting on the back and forth after the rain delay, after everyone's in that room asking a million questions. I was like, I felt bad for the staff, but they handled it like champs.
yeah. What? Now I know you've said in the past that Six's contact is not a focus for East Coast teams. I mean, Campbell City only does five contacts, so I mean, is that still the case? Is it just not something that the East Coast really cares about?
I think it's just because it's not there. The players around here, they really seem to focus on what's available. Not really about the what ifs. I'm not saying that it doesn't have a chance. It just I don't feel like it's been explored yet. I would put it that way more than they wouldn't. I'm not saying that they wouldn't come. It's just there's nowhere to go yet to show a presence.
Yeah. Jacob, have you ever thought about adding Six's contact for guys, especially guys that travel,
Yeah, I mean,
just to give them more games?
yeah, definitely something we've talked about. I mean, it's just we just haven't had the interest in it, with getting them to sign up. Most of these guys just want to play their one format, play their 4 games, and go home.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thought. We've offered 5 non-contact a few times, trying to get teams to play, and just people just want to play their contact games and go home. So
Yeah. Well, I want to focus on the Ohio Cinderella story out of Six's contact. We got Goodfellas, and they showed up after the rain delay, the mud, the muck. They said, "This is what we're used to every Sunday afternoon. We don't care."
That's
So
right.
they beat SP Savages, okay,
good
which
team.
Spence was predicting that they were going to win Worlds this year. They beat let's see, they beat the Bears, and I hate to say it because those are my guys. Those are all former teammates of me. Goodfellas beat them 30-0.
Damn.
And yeah, it was 24-0 at half. So that was a rough game for sure. So then Goodfellas next, they had to play New Dynasty, and they beat New Dynasty also. um, so that all I'm saying, that's a Cinderella story to me. I don't think anyone was talking about Goodfellas, talking about an Ohio team, anything like that. Now the team that probably makes sense that they face in the championship was Free Smoke.
So do they know that you're saying we when you're talking about them? Are they aware of this? How do they feel about that?
I don't know any of the guys at all. It's
Okay.
hilarious.
All right.
I'm not sure if that's better or worse. So
That's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, hey, it's like Jacob. Whenever Bex plus one wins, it's we.
There we go.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
That ain't we. That's them.
So yeah, so that was the championship. We had Goodfellas against Free Smoke. Honestly, what it came down to is the team that kept the cooler head. Goodfellas ended up with a couple of unsportsmanlikes there at the end, and that's what cost them the game because then Free Smoke had good field position,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they drove down the field, and they won. Now they tied the game, and it actually went into overtime, but Free Smoke won in overtime. So.
You know that quarter, Chris Boone broke his thumb in that game, and won.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. He came up to me the Sunday afternoon and showed me his thumb. It was about the size of a freaking cantaloupe. He's like, "Yeah, check out what I did in the championship." I was like, "Oh." But he's still. I mean, he's always he's a great quarterback. He's such a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always enjoy watching Chris play.
He's been around for a while, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a part of the 9-man scene in Upper Virginia. He plays 5 contact. He used to have Showtime. He plays with Free Smoke now, 5s and 6s. Yeah, he's just a great quarterback all around. I've seen him play just about every format you can see him, and he's a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm the first East Coast Nationals that I was a part of, Free Smoke played Showtime.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, talk about feeling like I was at home. It felt like Camel City. I was like, okay, got it. You could definitely tell that they knew each other and tempers were flying off rip.
Has Free Smoke ever traveled up to Camel City?
Free Smoke has not. Showtime has, though.
Oh, okay.
Showtime came a few years ago. It was the first time Judah came or Hard Target came. They all played. They played as Showtime, and yeah.
I want us to create some sort of like cool, like Camel City versus DMV FFL thing. Okay, cool, man. I guess we can't have any fun.
It's on paper, it would be a ton of fun. And the reality of it is it would be a nightmare trying to figure out. It's not listen, to have the teams do it would be a ton of fun. I think it'd be great if you could set it up and in perfect world make it happen. But to get there would be incredibly difficult. We've talked about it. It's not something, I'll be transparent.
Yeah.
There's been a couple conversations about it, a couple conversations this past year about it, how to make it work.
Yeah.
And I've been the first one to say, guys, show me where it makes sense. Show me how this makes sense. And nobody can do that. So I'm a person about having fun and doing things that are great for the game. And that's something that would be great for the game, but it's just, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, East Coast Nationals is probably, pretty equivalent to that.
That's about as close as we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Jordan, I know you gotta. I don't know what you gotta do, but you got something.
I have to not get cut by my wife. Okay.
He's about to go to the bathroom.
Like
we're at the urinal. He's just like.
No. I love and respect my wife, but when she says that she'll cut me, I believe her. That's what makes the marriage exciting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yep. If you need me to call her and talk to her, I got you, man.
Hey, Pat's more of a smooth talker than you are. I ain't gonna lie to you, buddy. I would need him if I don't get out there soon. So
I can attest to it. When we went to breakfast that one morning, I felt like she just kind of had the blade like at your elbow, just ready to go in case anything happened.
Right. Oh yeah. Hey, bro. Hey, she's literal OG. Okay. So.
Nice. Well, we don't want you to leave. We're gonna, kind of finish things up. So just stay right here for us.
Yeah.
Okay?
All good.
All right. Cool. Jacob, final thoughts for Tampa.
Just so with Jen and Jordan that we've got to talk to and kind of go through their experiences. It was a ton of fun to have both of them. It was an absolute pleasure. It's so weird talking with Jordan right there. But no, it was a ton of fun. Especially, it was great to have Jen and have the crew that she travels with. This is the second year I've gotten to work with them. They're fantastic. Jordan's been my A1 day one guy. He's been there since the beginning. So anytime I ever get to hang out with Jordan, there's nothing I'd rather do. So That's it for me.
So.
All right, Jordan, anything else you want to share with all of us about Tampa?
Man, it was probably second best one so far. Last year was just a little bit better, only because so many memorable moments from there, and then this year right here, it was still fun. It was longer than I've ever done, and it was it went smooth for as long as it was from me and a player standpoint.
Yeah. Me personally, I had like I said, I had a lot of fun hanging out with you, and I was in a very different role, just recording games and walking around and talking to people, and I put the stripes on a couple times, but the men's teams they don't want to deal with me for too many games, so but that being said, Jordan, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Always.
I don't think we're even close to being done with Tampa, Jacob. I feel like we have so much more to talk about over the next couple weeks. But it's exciting to be back. We took a couple breaks to recover from Tampa to wrap up our season 1, and we are in season 2, and that's exciting stuff. So
yes, sir.
That being said, we dropped it. We have merch. We got these hoodies with Jordan, on them. They are so nice. Collaboration with Uncle Apparel. Shout out to Unc. I appreciate him connecting with us and hooking us up with that. We have a lot of plans for fun merch that we're going to do for this show. And this is the best experience. It's right here on YouTube. You got to watch, you got to listen, and there's always something going on. You get to see Jacob get nervous and turn off his camera from time to time.
You can also get to see when Ant and I are listening to people. We in unison have the bobblehead mentality.
Yeah,
there's a lot that you don't get to hear when you listen to it on like Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else. So definitely hit that subscribe button to YouTube. Check us out on there. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts at. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then with social media, I'm not even going to mention the platform that's gone. It's illegal, so I don't want to I don't want to get charges for bringing that one up. But we are on all the other ones. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We lost our Facebook this past week, but we have another one. We started a new one. So, but this past week we got to 3,000 followers on Instagram. That was a really big deal for us, a huge milestone. And so shout out to everyone that just checks us out on social media. We have so much fun on there, just doing what's the call, start, cut, bench. I can't wait till Elite 11 comes out so I can start doing start, cut, bench from Elite 11. Like that's exciting. So we are going to have fun with that. And I appreciate the guys that are just constantly interacting with us. Dean, Spence, and then we got players like Rock and Law that they're always chiming in. It's good conversation. It's positive. We're having fun here, and we're all talking about flag football. So that being said, Jacob, you anything else?
That's all I got, brother.
All right, cool. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Y'all be good.